Okay, next up, let's take a look at the first of our loops, the for loop. Now, when we talk about programming structures, we're talking about iteration when we talk about loops. And we're going to look at the for loop and we're going to look at the while loop, but we're going to start today with this for loop. So, first of all, the syntax. Lowercase for, it's standard to put I here, but you can put any word or letter here. Basically, what happens is we create a variable that exists for the time that the for loop runs. Now, the for loop runs until something isn't indented. Now, notice we've got this stuff down here that's commented out, so only these first two lines are going to run. It's for I in range, and then we've got brackets, and we give it a range. So we're going to print I this time. So let's run it, and that's probably the easiest way to see what this does. So, as you can see, the first go through the loop, I takes the value of 0 because we didn't put a first value in. We just said 10, so it's going to start at the first value, which is always 0 indexed. So it always starts at 0. And then it's going to go through the loop each time, and each time it goes through the loop, so the loop is just this one line of code at the moment, print I, and then it goes back to the top. Now I increments, or it gets bigger by 1. So I is now 1, and that's still less than 10, so we print. And then we go back, and I becomes 2, and it's still less than 10, so we go through the loop again, and we keep going. But when I is 10, we stop because it's not less than this number. Now, you might think, what if I wanted to print out 1 to 10? Well, we can just simply say I plus 1, and now if we run it, you can see that it starts at 1 and it goes to 10. Now, some other things to see. You can put as many lines in here as you like. So let's just in here, not that it makes any sense or anything, but just so you can see that what happens is it runs both lines of code, then it comes back up to the 4, it increments I and checks if it should run again. So these are things we could do. We could also be looking at things like maybe we want to put some text in. So now we're going to make one of our F strings. And I'm going to say, this is loop number. And because it's an F string, we need to put this variable inside braces. That's the thing. And if we run it, you can see that it now will put out, this is loop number 1, this is loop number 2, this is loop number 3. Now, because it'll be useful in one of the challenges, let's just see another thing that we can do. So I might have a variable that contains a number. And instead of passing a number here, I could pass the variable. And you can see that it still works exactly the same. All right, let's get rid of this first example. And we'll have a look at this stuff down the bottom here. So I'm just going to comment out the bottom one for now. And we'll bring this one back up to the top. And we'll run it. So this one is just to show you that if you want to print a specific range, you can say the number you want to start at, and it starts at exactly that number. It still stops at 1 short of the number at the other end. All right, final thing, you can also have it increment by numbers other than 1. So to do that, we simply pass it a third parameter. So now I'm saying for I in range, start at 10, go to 100, and increment by 5 each time. So you can go through and you can see that that's what this one will print out. Now, there's 2 challenges for you to try to see if you've got the hang of these for loops yet. The first one is the num between challenge. That should be a pretty straightforward implementation of this for loop. The next one after that is a pretty well-known programming challenge called the Fizzbang challenge. That one will require you to bring in some selection and some use of modulus that you've learned in earlier units. Okay, good luck with that. I'll be back with the video that goes through the answers.